Have you ever stopped to notice how often your life is controlled by moments you didn't even choose? One careless word, a sudden insult, a small mistake, suddenly your chest tightens, your hands clench, and your mind races. It feels automatic, like a storm that erupts inside you before you even realize it. You try to push it away, to calm yourself, but the reaction has already taken hold. You yell, you argue, you lash out, and in the aftermath you feel drained, ashamed, or even more frustrated than before. Most of us live in this cycle without knowing there's a choice we can make, one that can transform every moment of tension into a moment of power. Imagine for a second that you could step back just a little from every situation that threatens to pull you into chaos. Imagine the space between the trigger and your response expanding, giving you a chance to breathe, to think, to act from a place of strength rather than reflex. Most people never realize this space exists. Most people give their power away, moment by moment, to circumstances, to emotions, to other people's opinions. But what if you could reclaim that power? What if the moment that usually destroys your peace became the exact moment that strengthened it? Every reaction you have carries weight. Every time you snap at someone, every time you allow anger or fear to dictate your words and actions, you are giving away pieces of yourself. You might not notice it at first. It slips through your fingers like sand. But over days, weeks, months, those tiny losses accumulate. Your energy is sapped. Your mind becomes restless. Your relationships strain. Opportunities fade because your attention is consumed by reactions that never serve you. You're capable of more, you know it. You feel it in the quiet moments when your mind isn't clouded with tension and regret. And yet, the world keeps testing you, and you keep falling into the trap of reacting. What if I told you that the key to transforming every part of your life is hidden in that very moment? The one you think you can't control, that pause, that breath, that tiny space before your response holds more power than you've ever imagined. In that space lies clarity. In that space lies peace. In that space lies the ability to choose a life where you are not ruled by anger, fear, or frustration. This is not theory. This is psychology. This is strategy. This is the secret the most resilient, successful, and fulfilled people know but rarely speak of. By learning to step back, to observe before reacting, to hold your ground when the world tries to push you off balance, you can unlock a level of control that most people will never experience. You can protect your energy, your mind, and your heart. You can face challenges without losing yourself. You can turn conflict into opportunity, chaos into calm, and triggers into triumphs. And the reward is immediate. The peace, the focus, the power. It starts the very moment you decide not to let the storm inside dictate your life. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you won't just understand the power of not reacting. You will feel it. You will know how to harness it. And you will discover a freedom so profound that every challenge that comes your way will become an invitation to rise, to grow, and to claim the life you were always meant to live. The journey begins in this one small, incredible moment, the moment you choose not to react. Your mind is constantly bombarded with signals it wasn't designed to handle with calm. Every insult, every slight, every unexpected twist sends a jolt through your nervous system before your conscious mind even has a chance to catch up. This is not a flaw, it is biology. Your brain reacts first and thinks later. It is wired to protect you, to survive, to fight, to flee. But what worked for our ancestors in moments of physical danger now hijacks our modern lives. A text message, a harsh word from a colleague, a minor inconvenience. Suddenly your body tenses, your emotions flare, and your rational mind disappears. You feel powerless, but the truth is, you are not powerless. You have a choice that is hidden, waiting, and available in every single moment you are triggered. Every reaction you have, every impulse you surrender to, is rooted in survival instinct, but survival instinct is not life mastery. You can survive by reacting, yes, but you cannot thrive. Thriving requires a conscious mind, a steady heart, and the ability to pause, even when everything inside you is screaming to act. This is why so many people feel exhausted, frustrated, or stuck. Their reactions carry them like a current, dragging them away from clarity, from vision, from purpose. And the more you surrender to this current, the further away your true self drifts. But there is another way, a way that is entirely within your reach. By understanding how your brain reacts, by recognizing the triggers before they control you, you gain power over yourself in a way that no external circumstance can take away. The moment you realize that your reactions are not destiny but choice, everything shifts. You stop blaming others, stop feeling like a victim, stop giving your power away. And in that shift, a remarkable transformation begins. Calm is no longer elusive. Confidence is no longer fragile. Your ability to navigate life with precision, rather than chaos, grows stronger with each conscious decision you make. This is not about suppressing emotion or pretending that challenges don't matter. It is about seeing clearly, feeling fully, and acting intentionally. It is about stepping out of the reflexive patterns that have controlled you for so long. When you pause, when you breathe, when you choose not to react immediately, you create space. Space where clarity lives, where focus emerges, where courage is born. The simple act of stopping before responding rewires your brain. It trains your mind to respond with intelligence rather than instinct. It allows you to reclaim energy that would otherwise be wasted on conflict, regret, and turmoil. Think about how different your life could feel if every moment of tension became a moment of mastery. Imagine confronting criticism without shrinking. Imagine handling anger without adding fuel. Imagine making decisions from a place of calm strength instead of impulsive emotion. This is not a dream, this is a skill, and every skill can be learned, strengthened, and perfected. Your body may want to react, your mind may want to flare, but within you is a power far greater than any fleeting trigger, a power to step back, to rise above, and to shape the life you truly desire. Every time you choose awareness over reaction, every time you pause instead of exploding, every time you reclaim control, you grow stronger. Your mind sharpens, your heart steadies, and your life begins to move in the direction you decide. You are not at the mercy of the world. You are not bound by every impulse or every insult. You are capable of mastery. You are capable of peace. You are capable of turning every challenge into an opportunity for growth simply by refusing to react before you choose. Every time you react without thought, you surrender a piece of your freedom. You hand over control to someone else's words, to circumstances you cannot change, to emotions that surge like waves against a fragile shore. Your energy, your clarity, your focus, all of it is siphoned away in those fleeting moments when you act before you think. And yet, the opposite is true. The moment you refuse to react, you reclaim what is inherently yours. The moment you pause, the world stops having power over you. That pause is not weakness. It is strength. It is courage. It is a declaration that no one and nothing will dictate the rhythm of your life without your consent. Think about the people you admire most. The leaders, the creators, the thinkers, the ones who move through the world with grace under pressure. They are not immune to provocation. They feel anger, frustration, fear, and doubt just like anyone else. What sets them apart is not that they experience these emotions, but that they do not hand over their power to them. They pause, they observe, they respond intentionally, choosing words and actions that align with their purpose. This is not magic. This is strategy. This is the deliberate act of mastering yourself while chaos rages all around you. You are capable of this same mastery. Every moment that threatens to draw you into reaction is an invitation to step into your highest self. The challenge is immediate, the reward immense. When you pause, breathe, and hold your ground internally, you create space for clarity to rise. You stop being a participant in every conflict and become the orchestrator of your life. Your emotions become tools, not tyrants. Your mind becomes a compass, not a battlefield. You begin to see each interaction, each challenge, each setback as an opportunity to practice the power that most people never even consider. Science supports this. Neuroscience shows that every pause, every conscious decision to withhold an automatic response strengthens your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for judgment, self-control, and long-term thinking. Each time you resist the urge to react impulsively, you are literally training your brain to act with wisdom rather than reflex. This is how habits of greatness are formed. This is how inner peace becomes a consistent state rather than a fleeting illusion. This is how you build a life where power and calm coexist rather than collide. Every reaction carries consequences that ripple far beyond the moment. A harsh word can scar relationships. An impulsive action can close doors that were barely open. But every conscious pause has the opposite effect. Every intentional breath, every deliberate thought before responding creates momentum toward freedom, strength, and purpose. You start to feel it immediately. An inner quiet that amplifies your confidence, a steady energy that fuels your focus, a clarity that reveals the next right step when previously everything felt chaotic. This is why learning not to react is not just a skill. It is a revolution within yourself. It is reclaiming territory of your mind and heart that has been surrendered for far too long. Every time you choose observation over impulse, reflection over reaction, you take a step closer to the life you deserve. You prove to yourself in every interaction, in every challenge, that you are the captain of your inner world. You are not at the mercy of circumstances. You are not controlled by fleeting emotions. You are powerful, deliberate, and unstoppable, and that power grows stronger with each conscious pause you take. When you learn to pause before reacting, you begin to notice something extraordinary. The world does not have to control your emotions. You realize that anger, frustration, and fear are signals, not commands. They are messages from your body and mind, guiding you to pay attention, not guiding you to surrender. Every time you resist the urge to react, you practice a skill that rewires the way you experience life. You begin to see that true strength is not in force, not in aggression, not in the immediate satisfaction of a reactive moment. It is in restraint, in awareness, in choosing the response that aligns with who you are and who you want to become. This choice is profoundly empowering. For too long, you have believed that your emotions control you, that a harsh word or an unfair situation can dictate your inner state. But that belief is a lie. You are not your impulses. You are not your triggers. You are a conscious being with the ability to observe, decide, and act from a place of clarity. When you fully grasp this, a shift occurs. The tension that once left you exhausted and reactive begins to dissolve. Your mind clears. Your heart steadies. You feel a sense of command over your own life that no external circumstance can take away. Every reaction avoided is energy preserved. Every pause taken is a seed of power planted. The more you practice restraint, the more natural it becomes to respond with thought, rather than react with instinct. This is where mastery lives, not in never feeling anger or fear, but in never allowing those feelings to dictate your life. Imagine walking through your day untouched by petty provocations, undisturbed by criticism, unshaken by conflict. Imagine the freedom of responding intentionally in every situation, of speaking with wisdom instead of impulsivity, of acting with strategy instead of reflex. That freedom is available to you the moment you decide to reclaim it. The mind is a powerful tool, but it is often misused when left unchecked. When you react without thought, you feed the part of your brain that thrives on chaos, fear, and drama. When you pause, you strengthen the part of your mind that is capable of reflection, planning, and long-term vision. Every conscious pause rewires your brain, reinforcing circuits of patience, control, and clarity. You literally grow stronger with each moment you resist the pull of automatic reaction. The process is simple in principle, yet transformative in practice. Every deliberate choice not to react is a vote for the life you truly want. Control over your reactions also transforms your relationships, your work, and your personal growth. When you refuse to react, you bring calm into tense situations. You become a source of stability rather than a participant in chaos. Your words gain weight because they are chosen, not fired impulsively. Your decisions gain power because they are intentional, not born of fleeting emotion. You become someone people can rely on, someone who navigates life with grace, someone whose presence commands respect without demanding it. The real reward of mastering not reacting is profound inner freedom. You no longer give away your peace. You no longer let small slights erode your confidence or determination. You step into every moment with a quiet strength, a calm authority, a sense of purpose that cannot be shaken. And in that state, you see clearly what matters, what deserves your energy, and what is beneath your concern. Life becomes a series of conscious choices rather than a sequence of reactive chaos. You begin to live deliberately, powerfully, and authentically, and that is a transformation that changes everything. Every moment you choose not to react, you reclaim a piece of yourself that has been given away for far too long. It is in these moments that true power begins to accumulate silently, invisibly, like a river carving through stone. You start to notice the subtle changes. Your mind does not race as quickly. Your heart does not tighten as fiercely. Your body does not tense as instinctively. You realize that the external world, with all its pressures, insults, and challenges, cannot dictate your inner state unless you allow it. This awareness is more than freedom. It is strength, it is mastery, and it is the foundation for every achievement you have ever wanted to reach. The impulse to react is natural, but yielding to it is optional. Every human experiences frustration, anger, fear, and disappointment. These emotions are part of being alive, part of the landscape of consciousness. But they do not define you unless you permit them to. You are capable of observing them, naming them, feeling them fully, and yet choosing to act with intentionality rather than reflex. That choice is the moment of transformation. That choice is the spark that ignites a different way of living, a life where you are the author of your responses, not the victim of your impulses. When you pause, even for a breath, the dynamics of the situation begin to change. Tension loses its grip. The power that once seemed outside of you starts to reside within. You realize that no harsh word, no criticism, no moment of injustice can truly harm you unless you surrender your composure. That realization alone shifts your perspective, creating a calm clarity that feels like armor against the chaos of life. With every conscious pause, you train your mind to prioritize wisdom over instinct, long-term vision over immediate gratification, and peace over conflict. This is not weakness. This is the most profound form of strength. Strength is not measured by how loudly you can argue or how quickly you can react. Strength is measured by how quietly, steadily, and deliberately you can hold your ground in a storm. Strength is measured by your ability to remain calm when everything around you demands chaos. Every time you refuse to react impulsively, you practice this strength, you internalize it, and you make it a permanent part of your character. The world may continue to provoke, to challenge, to insult, but your inner power grows steadily, silently, unshakably. Every choice not to react is a choice to reclaim energy, focus, and clarity. Your mind begins to operate with precision, your emotions gain balance, and your decisions become guided by intention rather than instinct. The people around you begin to notice the shift, even if they cannot name it. Your presence carries authority. Your words carry weight. Your actions carry intention. And the greatest gift is not what others see, it is what you feel inside. The confidence, the calm, the sense of ownership over your own life is a reward far greater than any fleeting victory gained by reacting. This is the power that has been waiting for you all along, the power to remain unshaken, to remain deliberate, to remain free. Every moment you resist the urge to react, every time you pause and observe, you reinforce that power, strengthen your mind, and deepen your sense of control over your own destiny. Life will continue to challenge you, but when you master this one skill, you step into a reality where challenges no longer control you. They elevate you. You are no longer at the mercy of circumstance. You are intentional. You are grounded. You are unstoppable. The moment you embrace the power of not reacting, you step into a realm where every interaction becomes an opportunity, not a threat. Life stops being a series of uncontrollable events and begins to feel like a canvas where you choose the brush strokes. Every word, every glance, every challenge can either pull you into chaos or be met with deliberate composure. The difference lies entirely in your decision to pause. This pause is not hesitation, it is strategy. It is the quiet, unyielding assertion that no external force will dictate the rhythm of your mind or the direction of your life. When you refuse to react, you reclaim time that would otherwise be lost to regret, anger, or distraction. Seconds that might have been spent in conflict are transformed into moments of insight. Minutes that could have been consumed by resentment are transformed into energy for growth. You begin to see the pattern of life with clarity. Every reaction, every impulse, every moment of surrender dilutes your power, while every deliberate pause magnifies it. Each conscious choice not to react is a declaration of independence from the tyranny of circumstance. It is an affirmation that you are the guardian of your own energy, the architect of your own destiny. This discipline does more than protect you from immediate chaos. It reshapes your entire experience of life. When you no longer act on every provocation, your relationships deepen. People respond to your presence differently because you are grounded. You listen more than you speak. You observe more than you judge. You act with wisdom rather than reflex. And in this state, conflict loses its ability to control you, negativity loses its weight, and life's challenges begin to feel like invitations to practice resilience, clarity, and strength. Your emotions are still there. Anger, frustration, and fear are not erased, but they are no longer tyrants demanding action. They are signals that you acknowledge without surrendering your power. You feel them fully, but you do not let them dictate your behavior. That distinction is subtle but profound. It is the difference between living in reaction and living in mastery. It is the difference between a life governed by circumstance and a life directed by intention. Every pause, every breath, every deliberate choice strengthens this mastery, reinforcing a habit that will shape every future moment. Science confirms this power. Neuroscientists have shown that the ability to delay reaction and respond with awareness strengthens the brain's capacity for self-regulation, emotional intelligence, and decision-making. Every time you choose not to react, you literally grow stronger, rewiring your neural pathways to favor calm, clarity, and strategic action over impulsivity. This is not just mental exercise. It is transformation at the deepest biological level. Your ability to navigate the world becomes more precise, your decisions more deliberate, and your presence more commanding. Mastering the power of not reacting does more than preserve your peace. It amplifies your influence. People notice when someone is unshakable, when someone refuses to be baited or controlled by emotion. Your restraint becomes a form of leadership. Your calm becomes a magnet. Your clarity becomes a standard. And the most remarkable part is that none of this requires confrontation, aggression, or force. It requires only one thing: the decision to pause, observe, and act with intention. In that choice, you step fully into a life where your energy, your focus, and your power are yours to wield, and the world begins to bend not by chaos, but by the quiet strength of your unreactive presence. When you begin to master the art of not reacting, you start to notice a profound shift in the way you experience reality. Life no longer feels like a storm you are at the mercy of. It becomes a landscape you navigate with intention. Each challenge, each confrontation, each moment of discomfort transforms from a source of stress into an opportunity to practice control and to expand your inner strength. You start to see that the people, situations, and events that once drained you are not obstacles. They are mirrors, reflecting where your power has been surrendered and where it can be reclaimed. This awareness creates a sense of liberation unlike anything you have felt before. No longer do you live in the shadow of every insult, every slight, every provocation. You discover that the external world only has as much power over you as you give it. And when you refuse to react, when you pause long enough to observe, to understand, and to choose your response, you reclaim authority over your own mind. You begin to feel what it is like to be untouchable in spirit, to carry a calm that cannot be disrupted, to move through life unshaken by forces beyond your control. The energy you save by not reacting is transformative. Think of every argument avoided, every harsh word withheld, every impulsive action resisted. That energy, once spent on chaos and conflict, becomes fuel for growth, focus, and creativity. Your mind gains clarity because it is no longer cluttered with regret or impulsivity. Your emotions gain balance because they are experienced consciously rather than surrendered to automatically. Your life gains momentum because you are no longer pulled in 1,000 directions by external stimuli. Every pause is a reinvestment in yourself, a declaration that your energy is sacred, and a commitment to live with purpose rather than reaction. Not reacting does not mean weakness. It does not mean passivity. It means power so great that you no longer need to prove it in the heat of the moment. It means confidence so rooted that you do not seek validation through conflict. It means clarity so sharp that you can see through drama, manipulation, and distraction and choose the course that aligns with your true goals. This power is quiet, invisible to those who do not possess it, yet unmistakable to anyone who encounters it. It moves through you effortlessly, creating influence, respect, and authority without a single raised voice. Every pause strengthens your capacity for discernment. You start to notice patterns in behavior, triggers in conversations, and opportunities hidden in challenges. You learn to respond to life from a place of strategic intelligence rather than emotional impulse. You begin to recognize which battles are worth fighting and which are not. You understand that peace is not the absence of conflict, but the mastery of your reaction to it. And as this skill grows, every situation becomes a test of your power, and every test an opportunity to deepen it. This mastery transforms every aspect of your life. Your relationships become richer, your work more productive, your decisions sharper, and your presence undeniable. You move through the world with a quiet authority that commands attention, not through noise, but through calm, deliberate strength. And the most profound reward is internal, the unwavering knowledge that no matter what happens, your inner state is yours to govern. And that realization is freedom. This freedom is the ultimate power, the ability to live fully, intentionally, and unshakably in every moment. When you truly embrace the power of not reacting, you begin to understand that the world will always test you, but you are no longer compelled to meet every test with resistance. You realize that the moments that once provoked anger, fear, or frustration are now invitations to cultivate mastery over yourself. Each stimulus that once threatened to pull you off balance now becomes a mirror, reflecting your capacity for discipline, patience, and awareness. This is where true freedom begins, not in controlling the world, but in controlling your own response to it. Every instinct to lash out, every urge to defend yourself, every temptation to act impulsively becomes a choice. And in that choice, there is power. The act of withholding reaction does not diminish you, it amplifies you. It signals to your mind, body, and spirit that you are the one in command, that your decisions are guided by intention rather than impulse, and that your energy is too valuable to waste on fleeting conflicts. You discover that calm is not the absence of emotion, it is the mastery of emotion. You feel fully alive, fully aware, yet fully unshaken. This balance is a form of strength few ever attain, and those who do possess it wield a force that cannot be ignored. When you stop reacting, you stop feeding the chaos around you. You refuse to be a participant in negativity, and instead you become a force of stability. People around you sense this shift even if they cannot name it. Your presence carries weight, not because of what you say or do, but because of the quiet, unwavering control you exhibit over your inner state. Every pause becomes a reinforcement of this authority. Every deliberate choice to observe, reflect, and respond rather than react strengthens your capacity to navigate life with precision, intelligence, and unwavering clarity. This practice rewires your brain and strengthens your character in ways that are subtle but profound. Neuroscience shows that when we delay reaction and respond consciously, we enhance our prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for decision-making, focus, and emotional regulation. Each conscious pause literally strengthens the circuits that allow us to act with wisdom rather than impulsivity. Every moment you resist reaction, you are training your mind to choose long-term power over short-term satisfaction, control over chaos, and clarity over confusion. Mastery over reaction also opens the door to deeper self-awareness. You start noticing patterns in your thinking, your triggers, and your emotional responses. You begin to understand the root of your impulses, and with that understanding comes choice. You are no longer a passenger in your own life, buffeted by circumstance and emotion. You are the pilot, navigating each moment with intention, guided by vision, not fear. This awareness transforms challenges into opportunities. Conflicts become lessons. Provocations become gateways to strength. Every interaction becomes a training ground for mastery. The reward of not reacting is immeasurable. It is not external validation, fleeting victories, or momentary satisfaction. It is the deep, unshakable sense of control over your own life. It is the energy preserved, the clarity gained, and the freedom realized. Life does not become easier, but you become stronger. Life does not become predictable, but you become unstoppable. And in this power, this quiet dominion over your own responses, you find a profound truth: the world cannot disturb you unless you allow it, and when you choose not to, you move through life with an authority and grace that transforms everything it touches. The power of not reacting is not simply a strategy, it is a revolution of your inner world. When you choose restraint over impulse, you step into a space where clarity replaces confusion and strength replaces chaos. Every time you resist the urge to lash out, every time you pause instead of responding to provocation, you reinforce a truth that cannot be taken from you. Your peace is your power. You begin to see life differently, through a lens unclouded by reaction, unshaken by momentary turbulence. The world still moves with unpredictability, but you are no longer pulled by its currents. You move with intention, purpose, and calm authority. When you do not react, you create a space between stimulus and response, and in that space lies your freedom. That space is where your power lives. It is where you choose perspective over panic, strategy over impulse, and wisdom over anger. You realize that every lost temper, every harsh word, every hasty reaction was a surrender of your own authority. And now, every pause you take, every moment you breathe before responding, reclaims that authority, reinforcing your inner control and teaching the world that you cannot be manipulated, provoked, or diminished. You begin to feel the weight of this freedom in your body, the lightness in your mind, and the clarity in your decisions. Not reacting transforms your energy. Every reaction is a leak, a drain of strength, and a distraction from what truly matters. But when you pause, observe, and choose your response deliberately, that energy is redirected into focus, creativity, and resilience. Your mind becomes sharper because it is no longer scattered by emotional turbulence. Your presence becomes magnetic because you are grounded, unwavering, and deliberate. Your influence grows because people feel the difference between someone who reacts and someone who responds with intention. This power is subtle, yet undeniable. It commands respect not through force, but through calm mastery. The biological truth is profound. Each time you practice restraint, your brain strengthens neural pathways associated with self-control, emotional intelligence, and critical thinking. Every conscious pause builds resilience against impulsivity, creating a mental architecture that favors strategic action over chaotic reaction. Over time, these repeated moments of choice accumulate into a habit that defines who you are. Your responses become intentional, your energy becomes focused, and your life begins to flow in a direction you actively choose rather than passively endure. Self-awareness deepens as reaction fades. You start to see your triggers not as enemies, but as teachers. You begin to understand what provokes you, why it provokes you, and how to respond in ways that elevate rather than diminish you. This understanding gives you mastery over your internal state, making external forces increasingly irrelevant. Challenges no longer terrify you, criticism no longer wounds you, and chaos no longer dictates your mood. You begin to recognize that your power is entirely self-generated, and that awareness shifts everything. The reward is profound, an unshakable inner strength, a clarity of thought, and a freedom from the tyranny of external circumstance. You begin to navigate life with a quiet confidence that radiates without effort. The world can challenge you, provoke you, and test you, but it cannot break you. Every choice not to react becomes a testament to your self-mastery, a declaration that you are the author of your own experience, and a proof that the most extraordinary power lies not in controlling the world, but in controlling yourself. Imagine the strength you unlock when your mind is no longer a battlefield of reaction. Every instinct to lash out or defend dissolves in the awareness that you are in command of your own responses. This mastery is not passive. It is deliberate, it is fierce, and it is transformative. When you do not react, you reclaim control over your energy, your focus, and your life. You realize that every second spent in anger or frustration is a second stolen from your potential, from your clarity, from your ability to shape the life you truly desire. Restraint becomes not a limitation, but a liberation, a key that opens doors to possibilities you never saw when you were captive to emotion. The moment you pause, you create a choice that rewires how you interact with the world. You begin to understand that the impulse to react is simply a call for awareness, an invitation to rise above automatic behavior. You start noticing patterns in your thoughts and feelings, recognizing that your reactions often serve no purpose other than to reinforce old habits. Each time you choose not to react, you interrupt these patterns, planting seeds of self-control, patience, and resilience. The more you practice, the more instinctively you operate from this place of calm authority, and the world begins to respond differently to you. People sense it. Opportunities present themselves where before there were only obstacles. Energy flows toward you instead of away. Not reacting is not weakness. It is an extraordinary act of strength. It takes courage to pause when every fiber of your being wants to explode. It takes clarity to choose observation over instinct. It takes commitment to align your actions with your higher purpose rather than momentary impulses. In these pauses, you cultivate a power that is far greater than the temporary satisfaction of reacting. You are no longer a prisoner of emotion. You become the architect of your life, designing each moment with deliberate intention and unshakable focus. Science supports this transformation. Every time you resist an emotional impulse, your brain strengthens pathways responsible for rational thinking, decision-making, and emotional regulation. You are literally building the neurological foundation for a life of mastery. What once felt impossible becomes natural. What once felt like control slipping away becomes effortless command over your own experience. You are not merely surviving the world, you are shaping it from the inside out with each conscious pause, each deliberate choice, each refusal to be controlled by reaction. The emotional reward is profound. You begin to feel a freedom that cannot be taken from you. Anger no longer rules your mind. Frustration no longer dictates your actions. Fear no longer paralyzes you. In place of these reactive states emerges clarity, strength, and unshakable calm. You are present, fully alive, fully aware, and fully powerful. Life still challenges you, but you are no longer a victim of its unpredictability. You are a force of calm mastery, moving through the world with authority, energy, and purpose. Every person, every moment, every challenge becomes an opportunity to deepen this mastery, to refine your focus, and to prove to yourself that the greatest power in life is the power to choose your own response, and to do so without hesitation, without fear, and without reaction. Every time you refuse to react, you are making a statement to yourself and to the world. You are in control. You are no longer at the mercy of external chaos, insults, or provocations. That control is not about suppressing your feelings. It is about harnessing them, directing them, and transforming them into energy that serves your purpose rather than depletes it. When you react impulsively, you hand your power to someone else or to circumstances you cannot control. When you pause, breathe, and choose your response, you reclaim that power, and it changes everything. Your focus sharpens, your mind clears, your presence strengthens. People notice it, even if they cannot explain why. The practice of not reacting is a form of self-respect. It communicates to yourself that you are worth more than the temporary satisfaction of lashing out. It communicates to the world that your energy is precious, that your peace is non-negotiable, and that your life will not be dictated by the whims of others. Each pause, each conscious breath before responding reinforces this boundary, and with every repetition, it becomes a permanent part of your character. You begin to live from a space of authority and dignity, where your actions are deliberate, your words measured, and your energy intact. You no longer waste time or emotion on what does not serve you. Not reacting transforms relationships. When you meet anger with calm, criticism with composure, or provocation with thoughtfulness, you change the dynamic entirely. People respond differently to you because you respond differently. Tension softens. Conflict diminishes. Respect grows. You create a ripple effect, influencing the world around you, not through force, but through quiet power. The energy you cultivate within yourself flows outward, shaping your environment in ways that reaction never could. This is the unseen power of restraint, the ability to influence without confrontation, to lead without aggression, and to inspire without force. Every decision not to react builds resilience. You begin to tolerate discomfort without surrendering your peace. You begin to endure challenges without losing clarity. You begin to embrace criticism without internalizing it. This resilience becomes a shield against chaos, a fortress for your mind, and a training ground for your spirit. Life becomes less about surviving emotional storms and more about navigating them with skill, awareness, and strength. You are no longer tossed by the waves. You are the calm in the eye of the storm. The long-term transformation is profound. Over time, you develop an unshakable inner stability. Your mind is no longer a battlefield. It is a place of strategy, focus, and intention. Your emotional state is no longer dependent on others. It is self-generated and self-sustaining. You gain a clarity of vision, a precision in action, and a depth of presence that reaction could never provide. Your life begins to flow in a direction of your choosing, guided not by impulse, but by conscious decision. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to practice mastery. Every provocation becomes a chance to demonstrate strength. Every interaction becomes a test and proof of your power to remain unshaken, unreactive, and fully in command of yourself. When you fully embrace the power of not reacting, you unlock a freedom few ever experience. You gain a peace that cannot be stolen. You gain a focus that cannot be broken. You gain a presence that commands respect. And most importantly, you gain the life you were always meant to live. A life defined not by chaos, by others' agendas, or by fleeting emotion, but by conscious choice, inner strength, and unwavering calm. The power is yours. All you need to do is claim it, one deliberate pause at a time. Every time you hold back a reaction, you are practicing a mastery that few ever truly achieve. You are training your mind to act from intention rather than instinct, from clarity rather than chaos. The world around you may still be unpredictable, full of people pushing buttons and circumstances testing your limits, but you are no longer a passive participant. You are the observer, the chooser, the one who decides what will touch your energy and what will pass like water over stone. Each pause, each conscious decision strengthens this invisible armor of self-mastery, and with it comes an unstoppable confidence that cannot be shaken by noise, criticism, or drama. Not reacting is a declaration of your power. It says to yourself in the world that your peace is not negotiable, that your focus is sacred, that your mind and spirit will not be hijacked by impulse or provocation. When you pause instead of responding, you give yourself space to see clearly, to act wisely, and to invest your energy where it truly matters. The temporary satisfaction of retaliation or outburst cannot compare to the long-term advantage of calm authority. You become a force that is not measured by volume or aggression, but by presence, control, and the unshakable ability to act in alignment with your values. Your relationships transform when you master this. People no longer trigger you the way they once did. Criticism becomes information rather than attack. Conflict becomes a platform for understanding rather than chaos. You begin to lead by example, showing the power of restraint, the strength of patience, and the intelligence of deliberate response. Others feel your energy and adjust without you needing to enforce it. Influence grows naturally because you no longer react to the world. You shape it with calm authority. You become magnetic, not because of what you say, but because of how you carry yourself. People respect this, even if they cannot articulate why. Every moment you choose not to react is a training ground for resilience. You learn to endure discomfort without losing composure. You learn to face hostility without surrendering your clarity. You learn to hold space for yourself even when others try to impose chaos. Each conscious pause builds a mental and emotional strength that becomes unshakable over time. Life no longer feels like a series of battles. It becomes a practice in mastery. Your inner world remains untouched even as external storms rage, and this becomes a source of empowerment unlike any other. The transformation runs deep, changing not just how you interact with others, but how you experience life itself. Your mind becomes a place of strategy, not reaction. Your emotions become allies, not dictators. Your energy becomes a resource to invest, not a commodity to squander. You begin to notice opportunities you would have missed while reacting, clarity you would have overlooked in emotional chaos, and power you never realized you possessed. Each pause is a choice to elevate yourself. Each restraint a step toward freedom. This freedom is profound. You gain a peace that is unshakable, a focus that is unbreakable, and a presence that is undeniable. The power of not reacting allows you to move through life with deliberate purpose, conscious energy, and unyielding strength. It is a power that cannot be taken, a calm that cannot be disturbed, and a clarity that cannot be clouded. When you embrace it fully, you are no longer at the mercy of circumstances, people, or emotion. You are the master of your mind, the commander of your life, and the architect of your destiny. Every deliberate pause brings you closer to this truth, and every moment of restraint is a victory of the highest order. Every moment you resist the urge to react is a moment you reclaim for yourself. It is a moment where your mind is no longer hijacked by impulse, where your energy is preserved, and where your spirit strengthens in ways that are invisible to the world but undeniable to you. This practice is not passive. It is the most active form of self-mastery. While others expend energy on anger, resentment, and frustration, you conserve yours, turning it into clarity, focus, and unshakable power. You begin to see the difference between what deserves your attention and what is simply noise. And this discernment becomes your superpower. When you do not react, you gain a freedom few ever experience. You are no longer trapped by the expectation of response, by the pressure of social norms, or by the manipulation of others' emotions. Your mind becomes a fortress where thoughts are chosen deliberately and energy flows in alignment with your goals and values. Each pause becomes an act of liberation, a reclaiming of sovereignty over your inner world. You are no longer a victim of circumstance. You are a conscious architect of your emotional state, designing your life with precision and intention. Not reacting also teaches patience, a rare and powerful skill. In a world that glorifies immediacy, patience is a silent strength that separates those who live in chaos from those who live with purpose. Each deliberate pause is an exercise in patience, a test of your ability to wait, observe, and respond wisely. You learn to measure your actions against your values rather than your impulses, to act with intention rather than react with instinct. This patience transforms how you engage with the world. It allows you to navigate conflict with intelligence, handle criticism with grace, and face adversity with resilience. The energy you save by not reacting compounds over time. Every moment of restraint adds to your capacity to act decisively when it truly matters. You stop wasting strength on meaningless battles, and instead, you invest it in creation, growth, and the pursuit of your vision. Your focus sharpens, your mind clears, and your presence deepens. People notice this, even if they cannot articulate why. You become someone who carries weight without effort, someone whose calm authority commands respect, and whose energy is a force to be reckoned with. Your inner peace grows with each conscious choice. You no longer need external validation to feel strong. Criticism does not break you. Provocation does not sway you. Chaos passes around you, but it no longer infiltrates your mind. You experience life with heightened clarity, with a sense of control that feels almost sacred. Every pause, every moment of restraint becomes a step toward mastery, a brick in the foundation of your inner power. The power of not reacting is transformative. It is a practice that cultivates mental strength, emotional resilience, and unshakable presence. It allows you to navigate life with deliberate intention rather than impulsive reaction. It teaches patience, enhances focus, and preserves energy for what truly matters. And most importantly, it gives you the freedom to live from your highest self, a self that is calm, strong, and fully in command. When you embrace this power, you no longer drift through life, you lead it, shape it, and define it on your terms, one deliberate choice at a time. Every time you choose not to react, you are rewriting the rules of your life. You are choosing presence over distraction, clarity over confusion, and power over submission. The world constantly bombards you with triggers designed to steal your energy and manipulate your emotions. Every insult, every provocation, every injustice asks for a reaction. And yet, when you resist, you create a space that no one can touch, a space of unshakable control where your mind and heart are your own. This is not weakness, it is courage. It is the courage to refuse to hand over your peace to forces that do not serve you. Choosing restraint is not about denial, it is about mastery. It is about knowing that every emotional eruption carries a cost, and every calm, deliberate response carries a reward. When you pause before responding, you reclaim energy that would have been wasted in conflict. You redirect it into focus, into purpose, and into action that truly moves your life forward. This is the quiet power that few understand, but everyone feels when they encounter it. It is magnetic, undeniable, and transformative. Your life begins to shift, not because the world changes, but because you do. The act of not reacting sharpens your perception. You begin to notice patterns, intentions, and motives that others miss in the heat of their responses. You see the undercurrents of tension, the hidden opportunities in challenge, and the subtle dynamics that define every interaction. While others react impulsively, you observe deliberately. While they lose themselves in chaos, you find clarity. This heightened awareness becomes your secret advantage, allowing you to navigate relationships, conflicts, and decisions with intelligence and grace. You become a force that is strategic, not reactive, and your influence grows without you ever needing to raise your voice or make a scene. Not reacting also strengthens your emotional resilience. Life will continue to test you, to provoke you, and to push you toward the edge. But each moment you pause, each time you breathe and resist the urge to strike back, you reinforce the muscle of your mind. You teach yourself that external events cannot dictate your inner state. You learn that true strength is not measured by how loudly you respond, but by how steadily you maintain your calm, no matter the storm. This resilience becomes a shield that protects your peace, nurtures your focus, and allows you to approach challenges with wisdom instead of instinct. Every instance of restraint builds confidence. You realize that your worth is not tied to the opinions or actions of others. You discover that your power comes from within, from a conscious choice to remain unshaken. You start to feel a sense of sovereignty over your life, a deep knowing that you are not a prisoner of circumstance. The freedom that arises from this realization is intoxicating. You begin to act not out of fear, anger, or urgency, but from intention, clarity, and purpose. You become unstoppable, not because the world bends to you, but because your mind and heart remain unbreakable. The power of not reacting is a revolution within. It transforms chaos into calm, conflict into clarity, and pressure into purpose. It allows you to conserve energy, sharpen perception, build resilience, and strengthen confidence. Each choice to pause is a choice to live intentionally, to act with awareness, and to preserve your inner power. The world may push, provoke, and demand, but you answer only with deliberate action, and in doing so, you step fully into a life defined by control, strength, and freedom.